Jorah Mormont is not some tortured hot daddy sad boy like the show made him out to be. He's that twice married creep who hangs outside a high school asking any girls if they need a ride to the mall because, that's where the youths hang out. I will never forgive the TV show for making me genuinely care about this man because, like this comment says so, he is a creep. He is the biggest creep in this entire book series and I cannot stand him. I've talked before about the show's horrible habit of taking the male characters that the writers obviously liked and just smoothing over completely all of their inadequacies, all of their bad characteristics, just to leave the aw shucks good old boy shit. And with almost no one is that more apparent than Jorah Mormont. The show frames him as this quasi-tragic character, which is just not him in the books. It's not. He is a creep. Yes, he's a creep who maybe kind of wants to help Daenerys, but it's seemingly tinged almost entirely by this obsession and gross attraction that he has to her. Yes, the man is loyal, and yes, I think he would give his life to take care of her or whatever, but all of his stuff is tinged by the fact that he wants to be with her, and also at the same time, please remember that she's 14 by the time that this is really happening in earnest. Which even in the world of the series is too young. The adults know a child when they're a child. So that's, again, another thing that makes the child marriages that happen really gross, because most of the time the adults know and they don't care. And so ipso facto, Jorah knows that she is way too young. She's way too young to have already been married and lost a child, but he really just thinks she's hot. And unfortunately, it gets worse because Jorah's infatuation seemingly comes from the fact that Daenerys looks almost exactly like his second wife, the one who left him. So as I mentioned in my opening, Jorah has been married twice in his life. Once, I don't remember, it was some northern noblewoman when he was very young. I think the two of them were very young. She was never able to have kids. They tried a bunch of times and then she died, I think either in childbirth or miscarriage or something. Oh, my laundry's done. If that was glib during a heavy thing, but my laundry was literally done. But anyway, so Jorah's first wife passes away tragically, and then he gets involved in all the wars. There's Robert's Rebellion, then there's the Greyjoy Rebellion, and Jorah, because he is a good knight, or I should say, he's a decent fighter. He wasn't a knight yet. He does a good job in those wars and is eventually knighted for his, service. Then at a tourney, which I think was held in the aftermath of the Greyjoy Rebellion, Jorah, I think, wins the tourney, or he does really well. And it's during that tourney that he meets a Hightower girl. Her name is Lynesse Hightower. So yes, the same Hightowers as House of the Dragon. And naturally, because Jorah's a creep, this Hightower girl is far younger than him. She's very young. I don't remember how old, but she's, I want to say half his age or just 10 years or something. It's a big age gap and it's probably not chill. And not only that, she is super rich. So she's a young, really rich girl who is described as having, very pale skin, light blonde hair. She looks like Daenerys, basically. So they get married. He brings her back to Bear Island, but Bear Island, is in the far north. It's very remote. And this Hightower girl does not like it up there because she was used to being a rich girl in the south where the weather's nice and things are nice. So Jorah has to keep spending money to keep her happy. And then eventually, money is so tight because he's spending it on this young wife that is just demanding a lot from him, that when he catches some poachers on Bear Island, he sells them to, I don't know, someone from the free cities who does the slavery, and he gets found out by Ned Stark. And so Ned Stark then goes to arrest him, or I think probably kill him, because I think it warrants the death penalty there, basically. But he takes his wife and they skedaddle over to Essos. Then, because he's a dope but he hasn't learned anything, they quickly burn through all of their money in less than a year or something, and then he has to sell his services as a sellsword to keep them fed and happy. But naturally, his much younger rich wife is yeah, I'm not interested in that, thank you very much. And then she runs off and I think becomes the concubine of one of the free city rich folks. I don't remember exactly where they are. But so she leaves him, he comes back, finds out he's left her, and is all sad boy about it. And I think they threaten to kill him or sell him into slavery or something, so he's just fine, have her, and he skedaddles. And then a while after that, he eventually meets up with Daenerys, cool, we've caught up to the present. So now let's talk about his creepery. But almost from the beginning, Jorah is just always staring at Daenerys, and she is very conscious of the fact that he's doing it. And it gets progressively worse and worse and more aggressive until he's openly, I think by the third book, Storm of Swords, he's openly looking at her when he walks into her room and she's naked, and she can see that he's looking at her, and she's okay, dude, can you please stop? And it's so horrible because, you know, when you're in her point of view, you're in her head and she's constantly like, I know that he wants me and this is just gross because I don't feel the same way and I really wish he would stop because I like him as like, you know, head of my Queen's Guard. I think he's a really great guy. I just don't want to, you know, do that with him. And then, because this man can't take a hint, he just fully assaults her at one point. Like, he stumbles into her room, like, drunk one night and starts talking about how he wants her to be, like, a reverse Aegon the Conqueror and to take a bunch of husbands, and he wants to be one of the husbands. And Dany's just like, this is a lot. I'm 14, for fuck's sake. She might be 15 by now, but again, it's too young. Stop. And then in his drunken stupor, talking about how he wants, you know, be one of a bunch of her brother husbands or whatever, he like fully like forces a kiss on her, and like again, he's old, he's drunk, it's gross. And finally he like stops and he stumbles away, and Daenerys is like, ew. And this entire interaction is just fully cut from the show. Why? Because we want to keep this guy looking good, because we like him for some reason. Not us, the showrunners, obviously. And it's just, again, you are ignoring this key aspect of his character and then presenting it in a much nobler light, because the show fully flips it and makes it like, oh, this is just like tragic unrequited love. And like, no, this is like a far older man who's seemingly a predator with now a history of going after these far too young women, like forcing himself on a young girl. But we're gonna cut that bit because, you know, it doesn't fit with the narrative we want to sell. And then ironically, that whole horrible episode is followed by one of my favorite scenes, which naturally the show cut, because at this point she is in Astapor, so she's going to go get the Unsullied. So in the point of view chapter directly after he goes all like brother husband on her, she is going to go look at the Unsullied. And so she takes Barristan Selmy with her, you know, the old knight, though at this point in the book he's still in disguise and he hasn't revealed himself as Barristan. He stays in disguise longer. Anyway, she goes and looks at the Unsullied. She gets explained like how they are trained and stuff, and she's truly like horrified, and she's really angry, and she hates the city, and she's so like annoyed at everything because everyone is a monster around her. The people who are supposed to be chill with her are acting like pricks, and so she like storms back to the ship, and Jorah tries to like talk to her and like, oh yeah, so did you look, blah blah blah, and she is so angry that she just starts screaming at him, and it's just like, why'd you bring me here? You are a failure, you suck. And he's just like, oh, I made you upset? And she's like, yeah, damn right you made me upset. And then she just fully, because she is like so tired of all the bullshit, she walks up to him and she fully slaps him across the face, and it is beautiful. It is so good, and she deserved it because he's a prick. So next time you're doing your rewatch of the series, please remember, every time you look at that man, you do not feel any bit of sympathy for him. Yes, the actor is hot, and yes, they wrote him to be nicer, but that's not real. It's fake, man. It's fake. And please remember, if there's anything else you want me to talk about, please leave it in the comments. I will save it. I will get to it. Okay, bye.